Hello!
Oh my gosh, we're back!
Ding dong.
Ding dong, okay.
Part two.
Part 2 of Broadway, which was in April. Shit. And these two I saved because we had seen both of these shows, either together or on different occasions, but we did see them, so I thought it would be nice if we could both contribute to the conversation. So the first show that I can't believe we even got to see this, the Book of Mormon.
We saw it.
They did standing.
I did standing room because there was no. We lost Lotto, and there was no rush at that point. I don't even know if there's a rush now. Lotto was insane at that point. That was it still during preview? It was either still during. No, it was just after opening.
We were in the second week of production that we saw.
Okay, so it was insane. Every Lotto had like 110 people there or more.
I got Lotto. Me and my dear friend Matthew won Lotto tickets for that show. I don't know how, but it happened. And we got to sit in the front row.
Well, I did standing room. And something about standing room is that it's pretty miserable, especially when you've been walking around Manhattan all day. And then you stand in the standing room line for 4 hours. And then you stand at the show for 3 hours. And not a single time did I feel like complaining or sitting down or anything like that. Like, that was how captivating the show was for me. And me and my girlfriend Lauren are huge South Park fans anyway. We've seen every single episode of South Park multiple times. We can probably recite them all to you. Then in addition to that, Adriana and I went to a high school that was predominantly Mormon. So we had a lot of emotional ties in this concept of the show anyway. Not a single part of it let us down. I'm sure you guys have heard the music. I'm sure you guys are hearing all the amazing things about Book of Mormon. And again, now we're just raving everything we're talking about. We're not shit-talking anything. Okay, but yeah, Book of Mormon was amazing. I think it's something Matt and Trey have always been able to do in South Park as well, but when they're making fun of someone or a group of people or a culture or a religion, they make fun of them at the same time that they make fun of themselves, and at the same time they point out the positive parts of the religion, and I don't want to give away the ending of the show because that's what makes it so much, but don't be afraid to see the show just because you've heard that Matt Stone and Trey Parker write offensive things. I honestly don't think there's that much in that show that's even offensive. People are like, oh my god, there's a lot of black jokes and there's a lot of Mormon jokes. Well, yeah, because it's Mormons in Uganda, but honestly, there's nothing that's actually poking fun at black people for being black, and there's nothing that's poking fun at Mormons for being Mormon. It's all very realistically handled. I don't want to say tasteful because it's not a tasteful show, but it's just smart. They're just very smart writers. They're very smart writers. The music's brilliant. Obviously, if you liked Avenue Q, you'll like Book of Mormon. Get on it and see that show. It's worth it. It's so worth it. It's worth standing. It's worth standing.
Try everything you can.
I really loved it. I just love. It's another one of those fun shows. There wasn't much, analytical aspects of it that you have to dig deep to find the meaning of it.
However, if you do listen, okay, this is the thing. There's a song called Salt Lake City. And the first time you listen to it, you're like, okay, so this is the ballad of the show. Okay, cool. And then you listen to it a couple more times, and it's on my iPod right now, and you really listen to it, and you're like, holy fuck, this is a sad fucking song. It's they don't ignore the real problems that are happening in Uganda in this musical. They don't make Uganda a joke. They point out, the real issues, and it's a very heartfelt show. And I think it's important, and I think, there's no reason to not go see it, because it's one of those shows that people will talk about forever, so.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And everyone in that cast was great. Well, so we loved it. We loved it. And now on to
another show we love.
Okay, so this show, Bailey has seen how many times?
Probably 5.
5 times. I saw it twice while I was there.
But she would see it 5
I would see it 5 more times if I could. This is probably definitely a show that I would say kind of changed how I think and how I feel about things now. It's definitely impacting. We saw American Idiot. Doesn't sound like it would be impactful. Okay, Green Day. You don't think it's going to be impactful. This is a show you have to think about things. And it's good that you have to think about things in this show because the message is so much more than what you would have expected it to be. Am I right? Yeah. I'm a Green Day fan and always have been. And I was a Green Day fan all through middle school when everyone made fun of me for being a Green Day fan. And I never understood that. I don't know why. The beginning of hipsters was middle school, and they were like, you can't like Green Day. Everyone likes Green Day. But I was always a Green Day fan. And
when I found out this show was being made and it was premiering in Berkeley, the Berkeley Rep, I bought 3 tickets to see the show. I spent out like $260. So I bought 3 tickets because I had 2 friends that were going to fly out here and see the show with me, and I was going to do the same drive I'm doing right now from LA to San Fran to go see American Idiot in its baby stages. And I totaled my car the weekend before, and my parents would not let me drive theirs. So I did not get to see American Idiot when it was a baby. I couldn't sell the tickets. It was too short notice. I have untorn tickets from American Idiot Berkeley Rep. It was like heartbreaking. I literally thought I was going to die when that happened because I was a big Spring Awakening fan at the time. A lot of the cast members that were in Broadway Spring Awakening went to the American Idiot in Berkeley, and so I just wanted to be there, man. I wanted to see the show. For once, there was something in California, and I was going to see it before all those goddamn East Coasters did, and it didn't happen. Then the news came out that it was moving to Broadway, and I luckily was going to be in Manhattan, which I'm in Manhattan a lot, but I was in Manhattan the week that it was opening, not the week of previews, but the week of actual opening. And so as a present to my girlfriend, I bought us opening night tickets to American Idiot. We went and saw American Idiot. We sat up in the fucking nosebleed seats of the St. James, but it was still a mind-blowing experience. I was smiling the whole show, it's a one-act show, the whole 90 minutes I'm sitting there beaming. And then at the end of the show, Green Day comes out and plays a concert for us. And they played a couple songs. And so I lost my shit. I was like, this is my show. I was in love. It blew up. It became super popular. It became the kind of show like Spring Awakening did, where the same group of teenagers every day would come rush the show or lotto the show and go see the show. And it just created this massive fan base. And I would just talk to it. I talk about it all the time. I would to my friends, I'd be like, the show's amazing, the show's amazing, the show's amazing. And finally, I get all my friends to New York City with me. And the first thing we do is we go see American Idiot. So I've seen it several times. I mean, I love the show. One of the things about it that not a lot of people know is that Billie Joe Armstrong, the writer of and lead singer of Green Day, had the entire album and show kind of planned out when the album was first released as American Idiot way long time ago. It was already envisioned to be a musical. So this isn't like a jukebox musical where they grab some songs and be like, yeah, this kind of works here and this kind of works here. It was actually already a show. There were some characters added and there was some, plot added when they added things like 21 Guns and Do You Know Your Enemy, but the show was already a show. It was already conceptualized. So you're not going into a show that's just a bunch of people running around in punk clothing singing punk songs. You're going to a show that is actually a very, very heartfelt story about growing up in post 9/11 America as a late teen, 20-something person who feels like they have no direction, feels like they have no purpose. We have too much money to be poor, but we don't have quite enough money to go to fancy colleges. And it hit really, really close to home for me and my friends because that's who we are. We grew up in the suburbs. We were basically given everything we wanted throughout our lives. We didn't have to work that hard for anything. And so what did we do is we made up our own goddamn problems to make our lives dramatic. And I think it's a show about that kind of thing. It's a show about this kind of pointless, directionless, lost generation in a society where we don't even really understand how serious of an impact the war on terrorism was to our country, because it's not in America, it was in another country. And so this show has some really insane concepts and themes in it. And one of the reasons I support seeing the show multiple times is because you see something new every single time you see the show. And my friends and I, in at least one of our cars, always have the album in our car, the soundtrack of it, and we're always listening to it and be like, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear how they tied What's Her Name in an earlier song? Did you hear how, the extraordinary girl does this, and that's why she's this important character? And I mean, we could literally go on about it for hours and hours and hours, and I think it'd be fun for you and us to kind of do a couple videos of and breaking down certain songs. But I can't say anything bad about American Idiot. I wish it was a 2-act show because I feel like there's more that could be said.
Yeah.
But
one of my original problems with it, the first time I saw it was I was like, there wasn't that much dialogue. Why couldn't they add more? It was just all songs. Why couldn't they add more? And then I saw it a second time, and I was like, you know what? They don't freaking need dialogue. Everything that needs to be said is said through the songs.
I think What's Her Name's only line is "Wake Up."
I think so too.
That's her only line in the show. I've seen a lot of different people in a lot of different roles. I've seen John Gallagher Jr. as Johnny, I've seen Chase Peacock as Johnny, and I've seen Van Hughes as Johnny. Van Hughes all the way blew our mind. I have a, and this is weird, shouldn't keep saying I have bootlegs in the car. I have a a bootleg rip of his July 21st letter, the one right before Letter Bomb. Mm-hmm. I have that in my car because his read of that, I don't know what the date is of the day. It's like February 14th or something. February 14th, July 21st monologue right before Letter Bomb. It's just an amazing read, and I had to have it in the car. We saw Billy Joe Armstrong as Saint Jimmy. I've seen Tony Vincent as Saint Jimmy, and I've seen Joshua Kovac as Saint Jimmy. Joshua Kovac was my favorite Saint Jimmy. I enjoyed seeing Billy Joe too. Every time he would have a song, these like Billy Joe Armstrong fans would be like, "Ah!" at the end of the song. And at one point, I think it was at the end of, I don't know, it was like Give Me Novocaine or something. They were cheering, and I don't remember what song. He shoots Johnny, like, with his little handgun.
The bang.
Instead of saying the bang and shooting Johnny, he looked up to these guys in the audience and said, "Shut the fuck up!" And they got up and left. And we clapped so hard. We're like, "Thank you, Billy Joe." We were sick of these obnoxious audience members. Got so many obnoxious Green Day fans in there that didn't understand what theater was like. That you don't scream in the middle of the song But still, yes, it's closed on Broadway already. We're waiting for the information about the tour cast to be released. We know
two.
We know three.
Three?
Yeah.
I know two. I know Extraordinary Girl is Nikki Clisbelli.
Yeah.
Nikki Clisbelli.
We saw her perform recently in a little cabaret thing that we go to in Hollywood, where she performed a song from High Fidelity, which is a show that they're currently doing at the Alex Theater in Glendale, I think is what they said it was. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go try to see that, but we saw her perform. Who else do you know?
What's her face?
Jillian Mueller. I don't know how to say her last name, which is
What's her face?
What's her face? No, she's the Extraordinary Girl understudy in a swing, I believe, from what I heard. Maybe I'm leaking information I shouldn't leak. Sorry.
No, it needs to be said.
It needs to be said. I'm really excited. I saw her in Bye Bye Birdie, and I'm really excited to see her. The other person that we know of in the ensemble is Matt DeAngelis, who currently plays Wolf in the national tour of Hair. I love Matt, and I'm a huge fan of his Wolf. Absolutely. I don't know. He's one of my favorites. So we know three people. We're really excited to see the show when it gets here in LA. It's going to be here for like a month and a half or something. We're going to see it too many times.
Way too many times.
To New Jersey, actually, at the end of the summer. While we were in New Jersey, my girlfriend and I took a couple trips up to the city to see some shows. We saw The Talls, which was a play that Second Stage Theater did at their Uptown stage. It was a one-act play about in 1970s Oakland, Berkeley area. It was about just a family, two daughters, two sons, a mother and a father. The father's running for a political position, so his campaign manager comes over. His campaign manager's named Russell. So Russell comes over, and then what happens is a family friend named Connie gets hit by a bus and is in a coma and is in the hospital. And one of the daughters gets left at home, and Russell gets left there with her. Russell calls her dad and is like, "Yeah, will you stay with her?" The daughter's like 17, I think, and she's about to go to college. And they end up spending this night together. The play spans over like a day and a half. And they get high and they drink alcohol, and then all these like secrets and stories come out. And anyway, it was really, really, really fantastic. Really hope that play goes somewhere. I think it closed before its time. It had to close early because of Hurricane Irene. We saw it and we were just blown away. I really enjoyed it. And it's like, I'm hard to get with plays. I'm picky with plays. But it was very similar to God of Carnage in staging. It was one living room that you sat in, and the whole story was told through this. And I just thought it was so well done. Speaking of American Idiot's ensemble member Gerard Canonical played Russell, the political campaign manager. And I thought that was fun because I got to see someone that I've only seen do rock musicals like Spring Awakening and American Idiot do a straight play. Shannon Esper, who's Michael Esper's little sister, played his love interest in the play. Michael Esper was the original Will in the American Idiot cast. So there was a whole bunch of like American Idiot stuff in there, which is how we found out about the show anyway. But we try to see as much as we can, and that was an amazing play. I saw Spring Awakening while I was there.
Oh.
I saw the regional production of Spring Awakening in Asbury Park, which was fun. Again, okay, so I've seen Spring Awakening, I've seen the national tour in LA, I've seen Broadway, I've seen London,
Yes.
and now I've seen regional in New Jersey, Asbury Park. It was the first professional production of Spring Awakening done regionally. It was so much fun. It was so much fun because, first of all, it was in the Carousel Theater, which is kind of like a theater in the round. So there was no onstage seating, but we were sitting front row to the side. So we were basically where onstage seating was. There was a lot more choreography than the Broadway one. The outfits were different, and literally Lauren and I could not stop raving about this show. And I might make another video to talk about it. But for the first time ever seeing Spring Awakening, I felt like I got to know who Ilsa was. The first time ever, I felt like I knew who her character was, other than this random girl that sings a song with Moritz. Like, I actually felt like I got to know her character. Oh my god, it was so good. We just couldn't believe how good it was. And it's just one of those things where, like, I keep just telling people, regional productions are such an intimate experience that if you don't see regional productions, if you only wait for things to come to the Pantages and the Amundsen, one, you're not seeing enough shows. Two, you're missing out on some really spectacular things. Because regional performances can do what they want to do, you know? And so they get to do things like there was more dancing, and Pitch of Living was more choreographed, which was really interesting to see. Totally Fucked had the longest, like, standing ovation I've heard Spring Awakening get other than closing night. And it was just, like, so intense, and they came out with, like, this, like they went from wearing, you know, time period German clothing to, like, rock and roll torn fishnet stockings and leather belts and black eyeliner. It was badass. I loved it. So yeah, I saw Spring Awakening at Asbury Park, and that will segue into what we're doing today that Adriana can tell you.
Today, we are, as you know, we're driving up to San Francisco / San Jose because we are going to see San Jose's production of Spring Awakening with American Idiot's
Miguel
Cervantes as rock and roll boyfriend, and with Spring Awakening original Broadway
cast member Aaron Merman. So yeah, Miguel is playing Moritz. He played. Did you bring your rock and roll boyfriend pick?
I did. I caught the rock and roll boyfriend pick when I saw it.
So
I'm gonna ask her to sign it for me. And then Aaron is playing Venla. Yeah,
she played all female roles when she was on Broadway. She was a swing. I never got to see her in any of them, so I'm excited. Sonia from So You Think You Can Dance is choreographing this. So speaking of, I like productions of Spring Awakening that have dancing, okay? I think that's the one thing that Broadway was missing, was that the dancing was very, very simplistic, and the show is very simplistic, so you gotta make something, you know, stand out, which is why I like the Asbury Park one so much. It was done by Revision Theater in Asbury Park. So San Jose Rep is doing it, and it's choreographed by Sonia, who, if you ever watched So You Think You Can Dance, does those really intense, like, tribal dances. If you watch this season of So You Think You Can Dance, she choreographed the dance that Sasha and Melanie did together towards the end of the show. I think it was like the show before the finale. So I'm really excited to see the dancing for this. And again, we feel like, it's like, oh my god, we're like Spring Awakening chasers. Everywhere we go, we have to see Spring Awakening. It's going to be the same thing with American Idiot.
Seriously.
And sometimes it's like, it bothers me a little bit because those are the shows that, like, 15-year-olds see, you know? And it's like, something that Adriana and I always do when we see shows like this for, like, the 6th, 7th, 8th time is we always find something new, you know? And even though these shows are written so that they are really enjoyable to everybody, and you do see, like, kids and, you know, everybody's going to these shows and getting
kids aren't watching this.
Well, they do. There was, like, an 8-year-old at American Idiot, and I was like, this show talks about drugs, bad drugs. But it's just, like, there are so many adult themes in these shows, too, and things that are just layered under layer under layer under layer. And I think, like, every good show deserves to be seen multiple times. And it's unfortunate that with the price of Broadway, how difficult it is to get tickets, you can't really do that. And so I think Adriana and I are very blessed to have opportunities like get in my car and drive 400 miles to go see a production of Spring Awakening. So that's what we're doing right now, and we'll definitely get back to you later with what we think of the show.
So that is our current situation right now, our update. I hope you liked what we had to say about some of the shows. Let us know what you think. Have you seen any of these productions? How did you like them?
Or if you see anything in LA or California that you think's really good and that we should go see, let us know. I mean, we're always looking for new stuff to see. We're definitely going to see American Idiot and Warhorse when they come into town. And we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye.